I've never been a fan of Warhammer. Well, that's not entirely the truth. When I was a stupid child, I dabbled into the franchise a bit. I didn't know anything about the lore or how to play the Warhammer tabletop games. Instead, I would usually just go into the store that smelt like cheap energy drinks and spend about 4 grand on a little figure that I would paint over poorly, diminishing the cost of the thing by about £3,999 of the 4 grand I spent on it. Despite eventually growing out of doing this and not thinking too much about the figures, I have always had a weird interest in the Warhammer universe, especially the 40k universe. Now, I haven't looked into it too deeply, but on a surface level, it's a depressing, morbid, fucked up sci-fi universe. And I love depressing shit, so I found it cool. Now, instead of playing tabletop games like a person who fucking reads books and, I don't know, does physics at university. Nerd. I play video games instead, like a fucking loser. And I've always personally wanted a game set within the 40k universe, but most of them are RTS strategy games, which is like my least favorite genre of all time. I actually despise this shit. Just looking at the gameplay makes me want to fall asleep. Actually, my eyes, they feel a bit heavy right now. I think I'm getting a bit... There are Warhammer 40k games that aren't RTS strategy games though. A whopping 2 games. Big roster right there. So the first game is Warhammer 40k Space Marine. It's a pretty decent third-person action game, but it doesn't feel like anything that special. I mean, despite that, I had a pretty good time with it. I never finished the game though. Then there's Necromunda Hired Gun, another pretty decent game, this time being a first-person shooter, and it looks absolutely visually stunning. But it was made by a small team, which means it has quite a lot of issues that bring the game down, and again, I never actually finished it. Well, now there's a third game set in the Warhammer 40k universe, and it easily trumps both of these games. And that game is Warhammer 40k Darktide. I'm just gonna call it Darktide because I am actually getting sick of saying Warhammer 40k. Darktide is a co-op first-person action game, very akin to Left 4 Dead. Well, I could say Vermintide because it's made by the same people, but shh. It has you and 3 other players exploring the most deprived, horrific places in the 40k universe, completing objectives while a bunch of twats and disgusting abominations try to stop you.
What the hell?
You choose between 4 different classes. Those classes being Veteran Sharpshooter, Psyker, Zealot, and Ogryn. This one having one of the best run animations ever created.
Have you seen me run? Run.
Each class has their own special abilities and even unique weaponry. I also love how you physically cannot make an attractive character in Darktide either. It makes it incredibly easy to recreate ugly ass celebrities and live out your dreams.
I can't believe we're playing with Hulk Hogan and Jay Slap.
For legal reasons, this is a joke. The class that I played as was the Psyker, a class that focuses on using special mind powers that make enemies' heads explode. It's a lot of fun, let me tell you. I'm honestly quite excited to check out the other classes once I've sunk about, let's say, 50 hours into this one. Now, one thing that might be a bit off-putting is the fact you cannot play this game by yourself. Even if you queue alone, you will always be matched with 3 other ugly twats. I really don't recommend doing this though, as the game is incredibly challenging, and just like Left 4 Dead and Vermintide, it requires a bit of teamwork and coordination, even on the lowest difficulty. I queued alone for my first game, and it did not go well. This is coming from personal experience, do not do this. No level within Darktide is ever the same either. Special enemy spawns are always random, keeping you on your toes constantly. Not to mention all the different weapons you can use and all the different classes. Oh, and I think all those classes have different special abilities the more you level up on the skill tree thing, so there's that too. There's so much in this game, and this is just the pre-order beta. This isn't even everything that's gonna be there at launch. It's bloody insane, it's fucking crazy, I can't believe this shit. I'm really enjoying Warhammer 40k Darktide so far. I feel like I've barely scratched the surface of what the game has to offer, but I already know this is going to be an absolute banger when it fully releases. The beta is still going on when this video will be uploaded, and if you want access to the beta yourself, you'll need to pre-order the game. Listen, I know pre-ordering games is like bad or some shit, but I would definitely say this one is worth it. Plus, is even pre-ordering when you can play the game once you bought it anyway? You also get these 2 things.